Stories of Brisco and Bradshaw. I would be Bradshaw. That would be your Chickasaw native and Chickasaw Hall of Famer, Oklahoma's favorite son, Mr. Gerald Brisco. And what a shocking treat we have today. Former WWF Tag Team Champion with Earthquake, former AWA Tag Team Champion, and former NWA Florida Heavyweight Champion, a title he took off the American Dream. He is Typhoon Tugboat, Mr. Fred Ottman. Fred, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
We are doing great. It's good to get you on. We had a little concern that we weren't going to be able to get you on and have another Stan Hansen repeat, but you were very good.
That's all those concussions I've had from all those chairs walked over my head through the years.
That's what I say. I'll soon be hunting Easter eggs I just hid.
Hey, Fred, did you see how bright my broadcast partner is here when he introduced you? He said, very shocking. I mean, I wonder what I wonder what he's got up his sleeve for.
I thought he was talking about Ole Anderson there for a minute.
Yeah, he's shocking, all right. But Fred, man, it's a pleasure having you on. You're one of the old Florida boys, man. You know all the guys. I know you train with a lot of guys that I know and I helped coming up. But tell us a little bit about your beginning down in South Florida, how you became a fan and how you got latched on. What was your dream to become a professional? What kind of sparked that? So you were an outstanding athlete in high school too. So you had several opportunities to play football and other things, right?
Yeah, I played football. I used to wrestle in the off season to stay in shape. For football, the coach liked us doing that stuff, rolling around the hot room and that stuff, and kept us, in condition and stuff, along with the other stuff that we did and everything. When I was in high school, I graduated early, but I didn't, I've been a pro wrestling guy, a fan. I tell people, I says I was a fan. I've worked in this business and I continue to be a fan of the young and up and coming talent that's in the business. But I went to my first match when I was like 16, 17 with wrestlers and football players at Miami Beach Convention Center, where they used to shoot the Jackie Gleason show, where you guys wrestled down there. Because I seen you and your brother there and almost had a heart attack. I'd watched, and then they used to run Dinner Key Auditorium right down in Coconut Grove too.
What a great place that was.
Oh my God. Right on the bay there, and just a smaller venue, obviously, but just incredible. I remember when I went to my first, I seen a skinny giant. There was Louis Tillette was there, Malenko was on the card. The Funks may have been, but the big deal for me was I had to use the bathroom. I come back out and you guys were by the curtain. Like I was always taught in this business, watch the matches. And I always watched the matches, and I seen you guys and I was like, holy shit, and it was just incredible. Me and my buddies, I'm like, hey, look. But, when I was a kid, man, I was like 9 years old when I was watching, and it used to be on Saturdays. Gordon Soley was announcing, and I'd wake up in the morning watching cartoons. Wrestling would come on, and then it was out to play, as a kid. And all those years I watched. When I was high school, I started going to a gym also, right as I graduated. And a lot of the guys, the Kangaroos came in there when they were in town. There was several different guys that came in and they would talk to me. I was a young guy, powerlifting, and I was working with some other guys. And you ever thought about this? They would talk to me. They were really nice.
How big were you, Fred, at that time?
When I was high school, I was 245, 6'4". I grew actually almost 3 inches coming out of high school when I was going to college. And I was at that time probably 270, 280. I gained weight. I was training right. I trained with a couple of old school guys. One was a professor at the University of Miami. He was a power lifter, nationally ranked. And they're the ones that really taught me a lot of stuff, and just like the business, I was lucky enough to come in when I could wrestle in territories. And I remember my first territory was San Antonio after Joe Blanchard had sold it, but they got me in, but when I was down there and I trained, the guys that come there, finally they go, well, Boris Malenko has a school on the weekends up in Fort Lauderdale that he does up there. He had a ring set up in a storage area, and they would go up there, and there was a bunch of guys from Lauderdale and Miami that were training there. And he took me up there. I went up there to audit the school, and man, I was like, you know, first of all, Malenko was just a classic heel. I loved, you know, and could talk.
If you grew up in Florida, you knew who Professor Boris Malenko. Him and Eddie Grant. Him and Eddie had those bloodbath matches all over the state of Florida. I mean,
Russian chain.
They're still famous. How many years later? 60 years. They're still famous for that bloodbaths, even to this day.
Unbelievable. But I don't have to tell you. I mean, there were such great workers there. You know, everybody always talks about New York and WWE and WWF and all the great workers. You know, and especially when it went to cable, and he had every great top wrestler from every territory he took and almost stole, I guess would be the better word, you know, and brought him up there. But down here in Florida, it was, you know, the guys that were there, I saw every great wrestler, you know, and that came, you know, down the pipeline. I mean, it was as good as it gets as far as talent, you know, down, you know, in the South. It was a great place to grow up. You know, it's when Miami was a good place, not what it turned into hellhole now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a Miami boy. I'm a cracker. I'm born and raised down there. And but you know, it was great. I met so many guys, and when I seen that, I started training there.
Yeah. When you started training in Lauderdale on the weekends, who were some of the talents there? Because I know there was quite a few guys that come out of that Miami training camp.
There was a guy.
Then when you came up here to Tampa, there was even a bigger camp up there. But tell us a little bit about that Miami camp.
There was, you know, guys like Rusty Brooks. There was a guy, Red Roberts, who was down there, who was actually a psychologist.
Right, Dr. Red Roberts, Dr.
Red Roberts. I mean, you know, then you had, you know, Dean and Jody Malenko were there, you know, and remember, Malenko was like a dad to us. I mean, every guy that's still around that came through Malenko, you know, that's, you know, he would sit down and talk with you, and it was that kind of relationship. I mean, of all the things that I remember, not only was he talented, stuff like that. Like, I had one time you know, he says, you're doing good. You're learning this, but you need more facial expression, you know, the people up there, they can't see, you know, you're keeping your head down. You're not showing, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, you know, I'm not aware, you know, that's before, you know, cameras and TV and shit like that. You know what I mean? Or the phone where you can do everything now. And so he was showing me something with a headlock, and he hooked me, and he took his nail and he stuck it into my the lower part of my ear, and I'm like, oh, he was like, that's what you need. That's what you want to do. That's what you got to show. You know, I mean, I was like so worried about what I was doing that, you know, you lose track of, you know, the whole package, you know, because it was so greener than goat shit. But, you know, it was an incredible. And I remember him taking me also to meet Carl Gotch. That was like, oh my God, he made me throw up on his lawn out there in North Tampa.
Yeah.
I came from staying with my parents in Brooksville, and he had me come down, and I'm like, that's when I moved up to Tampa, because I wanted to train all week long, you know, and work and everything up there. And he had me out there, and we did the deck of cards, and I'd ate a big country breakfast. My mom was from West Virginia, and she's like, biscuits and gravy and bacon and sausage, all that shit.
Ooh, it sounds good.
Then went there, he put me through the deck of cards just before we even got introduced himself, blah, 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 you know, and he liked the fact that I have Austrian German background. You know, my grandmother talks like Zsa Zsa Gabor. She's Hungarian. And he's like, he goes, he gave me my first name. I'm like the man of a million names. I'm like Sybil, you know, and he's like, he goes, Siegfried. That's a good wrestling name for you. It's a German strongman from back in the day, you know. But I remember him being like 65 or 68 with a full set of abs. And the stuff that he did was all the old school Indian clubs, all the stuff like the Shiki Baby, you know what I'm saying? And
did he had do the deck of cards with you, or did he just have you do it?
Oh, he had the whole deal there. It looked like it was out of a 1920s workout area.
Hey,
Okay,
Fred, his house was like 2 miles from my house, right down the road here.
yeah, he's
And
right on the lake there.
It was on
Yeah.
Lake Keystone. I knew his neighbor very well. One of my sons was friends with his neighbor, and I go or drop my son off or pick my son off, and I'd see Carl all the time. But one day his neighbor got me. I went over and dropped my kid off. And he said, "Mr. Bridger, come here. I got to talk to you about something." He said, "It's really been bothering me." He said, "The guy next door is a wrestler. Do you know who he is?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I know." And he said, "What's he doing over there with all those Japanese boys?" And in the middle of the night, we hear screams coming out of there like he's killing somebody. I said, "He is," but not killing them, not murdering them, but torturing them and workout. He said, "I hear screams out. My wife and I scares us sometimes." I said, he's hard to train all these Japanese kids. He brings them over and he turned them from kids into men by working them out. He said, "I wondered what was going on over there." He said, a couple of times my wife wanted me to call the cops. I said, "No, he's a wrestler." But yeah, that was just right down the road.
Jerry, it was so loud they thought his neighbors thought about calling the cops.
Yeah, because they thought he was killing somebody over there.
Brother, it was like Hart's basement.
Yeah, he had rope tied to trees, man. He'd have them up and down those ropes. He'd have those clubs out there, hitting himself in the head with those clubs. I mean, he tortured those kids over there. And one day we were leaving there, and he was walking his dogs. He had those big pit bulls, right? And so he was walking his dogs. So I pulled up next to him. Hey, what's going on? And my son had run into him several times. Like I said, he buddies with a neighbor. And he, after we pulled off, and my son looked at him, "Dad, how come that guy never smiles? Why is he so mad at everybody all the time?"
Oh my God!
Yeah, he was a legend out in this area out here for torture.
Oh, brother, he had a thing called the iron bow. Okay, I told you, old school. It's what they use. It had 80 pounds of weights on a chain and a steel bow, like a bow and arrow bow. Okay, and it's what the Hindus and that used to use to train to be able to shoot bow and arrow off the back of a horse in battle. And he put that into the training there for your core and your back. I mean, 80 pounds in a chain. And I'm like, holy shit. You had the old hardcore leather dummy, like, the grappling dummy.
Right.
In there. It had about 180 pound grappling dummy to work on the mat.
The short arms.
So Fred, I just saw this thing on, it pops up on Facebook or wherever it is. They found out old warriors, they could tell a guy was a bowman because his left arm was so much bigger. His skeleton was so much bigger. Those guys back, those Hindus or the warriors back in the day, the bowmen had to be incredibly strong.
Yeah, well, you figure you got to hold on to the horse with your legs, and you got to try to aim and shoot the other, and oh my God, they had to be strong.
Have you seen Al Snow lately?
No, not for a while.
Oh my God, he's aging backwards. He's like Jonathan Winters on Mork and Mindy. He's getting better as he gets older. But all he does is the old stuff. He trains with the clubs. He trains. He looked up like what Hackenschmidt and Frank Gotch did to train back in the teens.
Oh yeah,
and that's all he does. And he looks. I've never seen him look better. But it's just
that's awesome. Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. That'd be impossible for me, because the ugly I got is the ugly I got. You know what I'm saying? It ain't going to get no better. But at least I have my gym here and I'm able to train every day. And that way it keeps me from killing people because I can only deal with so many.
you train a lot. I follow the two things I do on Instagram. I have no idea what to do on Instagram. I don't know what people want. They want to put, I have no idea. Pictures, I don't know. But you and Charles Wright, Godfather, are the two Instagrams that I follow that I love. Your stuff is great. It's about the gym. It's old legends. Godfather is just insane.
Oh my! I see all those videos that he does with that guy up in Michigan all the time.
Yeah,
the herbalist.
The herbalist.
That's a nice name.
That's a nice way to put it there.
Oh my God!
So you're training out Gotch's. there for a few times. And when did you?
Oh,
when
just
did you,
once. He
just
got me
one.
out there.
Just
Yeah,
one.
just once. Yeah, I ain't going down that path. It's like
And
when I met. Hey, it's like when I met Hart. You know, he comes. We were at the Saddle Dome. How you doing, kid? I heard a lot about you. You trained with Malenko. Yeah, my voice is telling me. And he went to do the shaking. I says, I says, no disrespect, sir. I have known about you from Malenko years ago. He told me about you. He goes, yes, they hooked that hand and then, whoa, take it down to the ground.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So you're training down here. When did you get the opportunity to have your first match? And who were some of the guys once you made that move from Lauderdale? Why did you make that move from Lauderdale to Tampa to come? Just to get more training, or what?
My parents had moved up there, you know, a while ago. They had bought like 10 acres out there in Brooksville, and me and a good friend of mine helped clear the property and all that stuff with axes and all that stuff and clean it up. And they moved out there and put a house there. And I decided I move up there. I'd be close to my parents, and I can train, you know, 5-6 days a week at that old mattress factory.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, that he had over there, right next to the body shop out there.
Yeah, Drew Park, baby. Yeah.
Oh my God, what a hellhole that was! The whole outside covered in tar paper.
Yeah.
And then they had Carl. Oh my God, the German wrestler
Von Stroheim.
Stroheim.
Yeah.
He'd be there with a case of beer, watching everybody. And Malenko hated him for that because he'd be over there drinking his beers and sitting there doing the deal. But man, what great guy! You know, Bob Cook was there.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of the different guys, you know, that trained up there, and you know, then the boys came by, you know, Joe and Dean, and,
Yeah.
and
was it at the time when DDP was there also? Or was that later?
Well, that was late when I had gone out on the road and that stuff and worked several territories. When I came back, it was when they reopened that Florida Championship Wrestling.
Right.
Under a different name. And DDP was from Fort Myers. He was a club promoter down there at Norma Jean's.
Right.
Matter of fact, I passed it. I was down there about a month or two ago. And we passed by there. I said, you see that? That's where he used to promote there. They used to do the banana gimmick contest with the girl behind the deal there trying to swallow the banana and all kind of gimmick stuff and everything like that. And he was incredible, but he always wanted to wrestle. Always.
Right.
You know, and when they put him with me and they put the Red Rooster, oh my God,
Terry Taylor
years ago.
Terry, no,
not Terry Taylor.
Okay,
I'm talking about Oliver Humperdinck.
Oh, Sir Oliver.
Both of them were like co-managing me. You want to see a funny video? He has a picture of me training for that match with a cage match with Dusty, and we're out on the tarmac out there at Tampa International. He's in a Porsche with all these Hooters girls all around him, and the car's moving down the runway, and it's me, the big steel man, pulling him with a rope around me, pulling the car down the deal there as he's cutting the promo in the car, you know, talking about the homecoming is coming, and you know, Dusty Rose, blah 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 blah, and he's cutting the big promo in that. Yeah, hell of a video. Then we're in the gym and doing some stuff there, and I'm lifting some heavy stuff and everything, and they were, you know, but he was something else, man. He was something else. He was good on the mic, and he became a really, you know, good talent as far as, you know, wrestling ability and everything like that. But it's something he always wanted to do. You know, always wanted to do that gimmick.
Fred, how old were you at this time? Did you go to college first? The progression. I'm sorry to go back.
I went to college because I was such a horrible student. I wound up going to a junior college. I was working on a degree in commercial art. I was an artist from a very young age, and I was working there. Difference between an artist and a commercial artist is you never starve being a commercial artist. You do printing, you do all, you know, everything else on top of just putting the pictures on paper. You know, you learn the whole deal, black and white stripping and everything like that. You know, figure drawing, you do all that shit. And I got a track degree to go to Miami-Dade Community College North. You know, but I was a bad kid. In first grade, I was in a desk outside the teacher's office, okay, because I was such a disruption. I was that class clown and the whole 9 yards, and I was as big at that point as the second, third graders. When I was in third grade, I wore my dad's same size shoes, shirt, pants, the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
My dad, and he was the baddest son of a bitch I ever met in my life. Got old school. And he's like, if I got smart with him only once or twice, or said something, kind of snapped. I remember one time I took out a whole brand new set of bifold doors in the closet. He backhanded me, and also on a second occasion, I was in the car and I heard some kids in the bathroom in elementary school. I was first grade, second grade. He's like, I go, Dad, I heard this word today. You tell me what it is? It was the F-bomb. No sooner did it, when I said it rolled off my lips, his hand, he had a 63 Rambler American. The arm, like he was double jointed, came back and hit the side of my head with the back of his hand, and boom, boom. Don't you ever say that in front of your mother. But yeah, I had to go to college to get more knowledge because I was such a horrible kid in school. They didn't want me to play football, and because of my grades in English, in 11th grade, they were going to make me take over my English. I had to take two courses in my senior year. And then the third game of the season, that's why I started doing track, because my coach, who was my JV defensive line coach, big black guy, Coach Wallace, it was awesome. He had a giant afro and just a big guy. And he took me on when they wouldn't let me play football. But then I had 3 other schools: Miami-Jackson, Miami-Edison, and I forgot what the other one, maybe Southwest or South Day. They were more than willing, even with my grade point and that deal hanging over me. They wanted me to come to school, play football. And I'm like, because I had 3 or 4 letters of intent. The University of Miami wanted me. I had one from Auburn. And that was in my, when they took me up, and I played the beginning of my junior year. But my junior year, I failed English, so I had to take 2 Englishes my senior year, and they wouldn't allow me to play.
What was you, an offensive or defensive lineman?
I played both offense and defense. I flipped both sides, and they wouldn't let me lift weights back then. They said, "Oh, it'll slow you down."
Yeah, I was saying with wrestling back then, weightlifting was no.
Yeah, I'm like, they want you to be strong and big in that shit. I was climbing ropes and all that kind of stuff, and at 245, 250, I was running like a 4.6 40. Yeah. So I was okay.
So in track and field, you eventually got a scholarship in track and field. High hurdles probably wasn't your event. What was your event?
The Fat Boy Relay.
I've been on plenty of those.
I remember being at track meets, and they go, "Well, we're going to have the Fat Boy Relay today." I go, "What the hell is that, Coach?" He goes, "All the weight men come out and they run a race." I'm like, "You got to be shitting me."
That's one of the most entertaining things in a track meet.
Yeah.
Those are awesome.
You've been on them too, huh, John?
Yes, I've been in it. I've anchored the Fat Boy Relay. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, I couldn't believe. I hated running, man. I hated running. Because all those pre spring conditioning and all of that all summer long, when they brought you back in, 6 weeks or 4 weeks out. And they had you start doing, the first thing I was getting in shorts and running out there. And Miami, it would rain, and monsoon rain. Then the sun would come out. It was so hot, you could watch the water evaporating in vapor off the field. 150 degree humidity is what it felt like. And they wouldn't give you something to drink. They had to suck ice. They had big things of ice. You had to suck on the ice. I'm like, oh my God.
Nowadays, a football coach bring that in. He'd last one day on the half of practice probably on the field, because the way that the football. I remember they brought something out in Oklahoma where the humidity's high and the temperature 110 degrees. 2-a-day practice. They bring out this stuff they mix with pure salt, and they make you drink a cup of it before every practice or before every drill.
It'll keep you from getting cramps. They
that's what they said, yeah, but it was the awfulest, worst tasting stuff I ever had in my life. I still have nightmares about that.
We had the
my
PVC
God.
pipe. We had the PVC pipe with a garden hose attached to it with little holes popping up, and you got like 5 seconds twice each day.
Oh my
It was
God.
110 degrees in West
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah.
Hey, you're talking about the bar at my house. You take and turn on the water, it comes out 150 degrees. You know, my mom would be cleaning. You can't come in the house. You got to get your drink out of the hose in the front, and it's hotter than shit.
Yeah, that drink
my
out of the
God.
hose up front. I think we all had to drink out of that hose at one time.
Oh yeah, yeah. And wash off with the hose.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh my God. Oh,
When I
unbelievable.
wrestled in Korea, I said, "Where are the showers?" They pointed to the garden hose. Seriously, we were outside just using garden hose. Okay.
That was like that in
Reminded you of
Dominican
home.
Republic.
What's
Yeah.
that?
When I wrestled in Dominican Republic, it was like that. You had the hose if you were lucky enough. You know,
Right.
you're wrestling in these baseball stadium gimmicks that were just, I'm like, really? Somebody plays games here? I'm like, oh, nasty.
So what was the first territory that you went to?
I went to San Antonio. I worked when I was training up in Tampa. That was cool too, because you know he would do little outlaw shows at, like there was a flea market up there. Oh, where was it at? Like almost the town right off the if you went toward north off of Gun Highway, I think it was. There used to be a flea market out there. He'd run shows there.
Yeah, Gun Highway at 54.
Yeah. I don't know if it's there anymore.
Yeah, no, the flea market's gone.
And then they did the YMCA there in what was it, West Tampa, I think, or East Tampa maybe. There was a YMCA right by the expressway, and he'd do some shows in there. They run him on the basketball court and that stuff. He did them periodic different places. And my first deal was he sent me to Atlanta, and in Atlanta, you know, it's when Turner had the one station only, the one that made Turner Broadcasting. And he always kept, that's why he always had that sweet spot for wrestling, because the advertising time always was jam-packed, and it was his biggest seller, you know, wrestling in Georgia was Georgia Championship Wrestling. And so they go to send me up there, and Ron Slinker drove us up. And I was next, I had Marino on one side of me. Now, I'd never took a road trip, nothing like that before. And I had, oh my God, what's his name? Who's on the left? God, he lived over in Sebring, Spanish. Cyclo Negro was on my left. This is no lie. Ron Slick, we're in a Cadillac. I'm in the middle, the hump seat. And I got two of these veterans on both sides. And we are 15 minutes out of Tampa. And they both on my shoulders, snoring like a son of a bitch. And I'm like, I'm like, what is the deal with this shit? And I look up, and Slinker's looking in his mirror. He goes, kid, that's how you can tell a real veteran. They can sleep anywhere. You know, that was the deal. All the way to Atlanta like that, pretty much. And we went up there, and I did, they wanted to take a look at me, and did a couple matches there on TV. I was so green, I didn't know what kayfabe was, you know, and they liked me and everything. But when I came back, Malenko told me, he says that they'd called from Texas, and there was a new guy taking over that office there where Southwest Championship Wrestling was. It was going to be called Texas AllStar. And I went with Paul Diamond was with us. He took his car. Ricky Santana took his car, and we all three drove out there. And oh my God, Buck Robley was the first booker that was there, Colonel Buck Robley. And we were out there. It was a mixture. It was really kind of a very cool place to break in, because there was Mexican wrestlers from across the border that wrestled that territory. You had Jose Lothario was there that trained Shawn Michaels. You had Black Gordman. They had Angel Blanco, and they had Fantasma came through there. They had several of those guys. All the Guerreros at one point or time had come through there. And Al Madrill was another guy. Scott Casey'd come in and out from Dallas. He was up there, but finishing up, he wound up being down there most of the time. They would shoot one-man gang in and out. They had Mark Laurinaitis' brother, who was wrestling as the Terminator. And
was that Joe or Mike?
It was the youngest one, not the one that's married to that works up in the office.
Okay. Not John.
Yeah, not John. It was the other brother. Who was a commercial artist. He went to Art Institute down in Fort Lauderdale.
Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, and then they had who was there? Bob Sweetan was there. They had a bunch of young green guys like us that they brought in, and it was a great learning experience. Although Ricky had his girl he was dating there, when we were all roomed together. The guy with the boy that wound up with the girlfriend, he had the bedroom, and me and Ricky shared the front room on mattresses. We were doing performance art. That's all I could tell you.
Still in the art business, but a little bit different physical
But oh my God, it was there was some great guys came in there and wrestled there. Nick Kaninsky, Gene Kaninsky's son, was there. Like I said, Paul Diamond was there. Shawn Michaels came in. He had already worked Mid-South, I think, with Watts, and he came back in there. And man, he looked like he was about 12. He's that baby faced, blonde, but he was from there. His dad he was in the Air Force. His daddy was. Yeah. But it was a great territory, I was
How long did you get sick around there?
About a year and a half or whatever. That's where they gave me the Bubba Deal. When I first came in, it's when the Terminator movie had come out. So I came in there, I had that look with the jeans and the black tank and the sunglasses and stuff like that. And they find out made Animal's brother the gimmick, gave him that gimmick back, and he was doing the face paint like his brother was and that stuff there. But he was like a more condensed, shorter, smaller version, good looking guy, nice kid. And we were all like kids there, but we did some really good, it was just a good experience. And there was a lot of guys there, even when we were off, were willing to hop in the ring and stuff, and we could work out where they did the TVs there, right across from the office, And so it was a neat deal. It was very, very educational. It was like getting paid to work, but man, the trips were 3,000 to 4,000 miles a week.
Wow.
In a car.
Wow.
Because you were up by Oklahoma, you were in Beaumont, you were down the Rio Grande Valley, you go down to Corpus, and then you continue down there. Signs say, don't pick nobody up on the roads because it was such a high drug traffic area. And then they had the illegals that were coming in. They don't want nobody there. But it was funny, and just so nice. We get down to the Rio Grande, and you go, and McAllen and Mission, you can go across into Mexico if you got down there early enough, and you can go get some good food. You can get if you want to get some beer and shit, they bring a beer across, and all kind of stuff. So it was a good territory. It was we worked in outside Houston, down there in Pasadena. We actually started doing TV at Gillies toward the end before I left there. And they were shooting their TVs there, which was a hell of a deal.
Scott Casey has told us one of the greatest stories ever about seeing a UFO right outside of San Antonio with Mil Mascaras. And
oh my God.
Have you ever heard the story?
No.
We're not saying that Scott might be wrong, but it was one of the greatest stories we ever heard. Did you ever hear that story when you were down there?
No, I never heard that one. We're trying to find
people to either
verify
talk
it?
about the story or
Yeah.
one of the two.
Yeah, the same about the story. Only Mascaras is still surviving, so we're dying to run into Mascaras one time and find out if it's true or not. Everybody else,
my God.
Wahoo was driving. So if you know Wahoo was in the car, there were some illegal drugs being partaken of.
At one
Oh
point,
my God.
Doug, you love it. At one point, Jerry was kind of picking at Scott, and he goes, "Scott, what were the aliens doing?" And Scott goes, "I don't know. They're going to fucking 7-Eleven, Jerry. I don't know yet, dumbass."
Hey, they were picking up a case of beer.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh my God. That was the thing there too. If you always had one of the older guys in the car because they had dry counties there.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
if you
yeah.
wrestle,
I grew up
we
just
wrestle.
north of there. I know the dry counties well.
Oh my God. You wrestle in Beaumont, okay, not Beaumont, but Midland or Odessa. And it was a 350-mile straight trip there. You wrestle, and the other guy, if you had one of the older, because we split a Lincoln 4 ways, split the gas and that, and so we're gonna make it back to San Antonio so we can go to bed. And you're doing whatever you want, depending on what's happening there with the rats and the whole 9 yards. And the older guys are like, come on, let's go, come on. He goes, we got to make the beer store. We got to make the beer store before they close, And oh my God. And you're going 100 and something miles an hour because there ain't nothing in West Texas.
Nothing.
The whole state of Texas, there ain't nothing.
Hey!
Oh my God!
Hey! That's not necessary, Jerry.
Hey, it's nice up by Austin, though. Oh, beautiful river country.
You hear that, Jerry?
Well, that's because everybody moved into Austin, from other places.
Oh my God.
This week's episode of Stories of Brisco and Bradshaw is proudly brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped now sells beard products. That's right, they're once again revolutionizing men's grooming with the brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. From a beard trim to a fresh shave, the technology behind the Beard Hedger Pro Kit allows you to shape your signature beard look. Just use promo code BAB for 20% off and free shipping. The cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. No more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. And it gets better. The Beard Hedger is also waterproof. They have created 4 dermatologist-tested formulations for your post-trim care. There's the beard shampoo and conditioner. All your hair is different. Your beard hair is more coarse and easier to damage than the hair on your head. That's why the kit has made shampoo and conditioner specifically designed to moisturize, reduce ingrown hairs, and replace natural oils and promote beard health. Next, the kit has Manscaped Beard Oil, an essential for your main facial accessory. Cap off that with Beard Balm, a pomade that shapes, styles, and moisturizes and tames for a sculpted look. The Pro Beard Kit also comes with 3 free gifts: a beard brush, comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is ready to impress. All that and 20% off in free shipping with the code BAB. That is code BAB at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code BAB.
But Fred, you're pushing probably your second or third year by now. Are you starting to elevate a little bit on the card, starting to learn a little bit, or what?
Yeah, look, well, they gave me a good push down there in San Antonio for a while. From there, they sent me to Lawler and Jared's territory. Oh my goodness. Oh, it was different here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
The work was different. What they were doing was different. There goes that continuing education.
Yeah.
But, a lot of that you don't want. Donnie Bass was here. I mean, they had oh my God. Oh my God, what's the guy that lived up in Pensacola? He was in that plane crash in Tampa Bay.
McCord, Mike McCord.
Yeah, Mike McCord.
Austin Idol.
Austin Idol.
Yeah.
Don't touch the wig. Don't touch the wig. You grab him. Don't get away with that hair, buddy. But he was up there, and Jared and them, one would work half a year. He would have the office half a year. Lawler would have the other half a year. And Tojo Yamamoto, he was the gimmick stooge for the office there. You know, he'd smoke a cigar in the back, and you know, he's looking, he's listening, he's, you know, got to give the gimmick report. Yeah, and then you know, you had oh my God, Bobby Jaggers came through there. Oh my God.
What was this pre Mark Calloway and Steve Austin when they come through?
Oh yeah, it was before then.
Yeah.
They that's when Sid was playing on the softball team for Lawler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you know Sid as a softball player?
Not as I did. I had to mandatorily participate in a softball wrestling event there.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, and I am not a softball player, buddy. I can hit a ball, but you know, they put me in the catcher deal, and I'm down there on my knees for the gimmick. I'm saying, what a rib this is. But you know, but they Sid was playing there, and they gave him the Lord Humongous gimmick from with the mask and the whole gimmick, and he was there. I stayed at his house one time over in West Memphis. He lived across the river there from Memphis, over in Arkansas. That's where his house was. But he was a pretty good guy, man. You know, good guy. He changed a little bit down the line and that stuff, but he was a good guy. Always been a pretty good guy. And it was amazing, you know, how far he went, and you know, in the business and stuff. It was awesome.
His body.
But him, what?
What
was you gonna say, John?
His body was. I'm sorry. His body was just incredible. I mean, when he was at his peak, he was unbelievable to look at. How big he was. A huge,
tall, well proportioned. You know, and he had that look, the facial expression. If a mother was going to take and kick your ass, this is the guy that's going to do it. You know what I mean? He just had that aura about him. You know, I mean, he was phenomenal. I mean, he's built. I trained with him a couple of different times at the gym down there in Memphis, and just unbelievable. You know.
Yeah, and he worked hard in the gym too. I saw him there many times. You know, I was trying to figure out what his trap workout was, and he was light with it. You know, he was a strong guy, but I just remember he was very particular with his trap work about how he'd work light and full range of motion. I'm sitting there kind of taking notes, thinking I could end up looking like him, which never happened.
Hey, genetics had nothing to do with it.
So who was the better booker out of the 6 month deal?
You know, it's just. I'll tell you what. When they brought me in there, when Lawler was the booker, I had a hair match within 3 or 4 weeks, and they shaved my head bald in the arena. I mean, you know, usually I would think you would build somebody up to that point where, you know, and go to all the exits. Even at that time, I'm like, you know, it just didn't make a lot of logical sense. I says, did I do somebody's girlfriend or something? Or, you know, what's the deal?
Who'd you do the job to?
Huh?
Who'd you do the job to?
Lawler.
Yeah.
Right there, Mid-South Coliseum.
You got a young guy there that's a stud. Lawler's going to get you on tape beating you and doing something to you. And we love Jerry to death, too.
Jerry's great.
Jerry's got the great.
He's got the strap is coming down.
Yeah, he's got the greatest video collection in the world. He's got himself beating every world champion that ever existed.
Oh man. You know, he unbelievable. Them people love him though.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's for sure. Yeah.
That's one of those gaga territories. And they had and there was no endless supply of, if you're a heel, oh my God, it's like going to a buffet as far as people you could piss off. Yeah. I mean, it was awesome. And then they brought in a guy from that Guido Mongol trained from Pittsburgh, the Mighty Goliath, big guy, about probably 6'9", 6'10". They gave him a tryout when Haystacks, WWF did, when Haystacks came in for them to look at him and try out from England. But real nice guy. He had to grow a beard, but it wasn't a real good beard. And along with him came Downtown Bruno, the
Downtown.
street urchin that became Harvey Whippleman.
Yeah.
Oh,
who is now famous on Young Rock.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But hey, God bless him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you seen him, boy, I was like, we're going to give you a GI bath. Okay. Because he was so crusty.
Yeah.
I go, there's one thing living your gimmick, but I'm like, hey, bro, you know?
Yeah, he was definitely from the woods of Mississippi, that's for sure, right?
Oh my God.
So
I'm like, yeah.
So Fred, you're there. When do you make your European trips? Because you had quite a career over there. You're quite a star.
Worked there. I worked in Portland, Oregon too for Billy Jack Haynes when he tried to run opposition to Don Owens.
Yeah.
For like 8 months. Then I came back and I went down to Florida. I was hanging there, and that's when they were doing the office there. It was after the show, we had the big show for Florida at the State Fairgrounds. Okay, huge show. Terry Funk was there. I mean, it was just a lot of great guys on the card too. And Otto Vance was there he had been from Graz, Austria. That he was scouting talent, you know, for over there. And after we did the show and everything, I went to the office like on Monday or Tuesday morning, and he was Gordon got me along with Steve Kern and I forgot who else. They go, they wanted to talk to me. Go, I met Otto, and he was a really nice guy, huge man. And he goes, they told me, they go, he's interested. He wants to bring you over to work against him, like a 10-day deal. Go over for 10 days because, he wanted to, do the whole build up and everything like that, and bring me in over there to work with him. And I was like, wow, it was my first time going overseas, and I was so excited, and especially going to Austria, where my dad's father was from. And like I said before, my grandmother, she was from Budapest, Hungary. She sounded like Zsa Zsa Gabor, but, and my dad's raised in the Bronx in New York. So he's like, they're going to send me over there. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome, man. And so I went over, and it was they do catch there. They do the rounds just like boxing, and they run the same building 30 to 40 days in a row and sell out the building every night. It was the most amazing thing. And I got to meet Finley was there. There was a lot of guys from UK. There was guys from Germany. There was some couple of guys from states that were there. I mean, and there was some guys from Japan. I think Sato was there when he was at that point. And
that's really where John got his most of his experience was over there working for Otto, right, John?
Yeah, I worked for Otto for 2 years over there.
That's a cool setup. You stay in the camp in the whole 9 years, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, we started in Graz and ended up in Bremen at the end of the year. I was over there for 2 years with Otto. I loved Otto. Otto was awesome. Oh. Otto holds the world record for breaking phone books in half.
Oh wow! No,
he's got those massive, strong hands. And he would. I've seen him do it. He'd take the not the page end, but the binder end. He breaks the binder, and then he'd rip these. I mean, massive.
Oh yeah.
Half.
I'd heard about it. I never saw it, but I had heard about that.
It was impressive.
It gives you the big Otto, that big forward roll gimmick.
Oh my goodness.
During the match.
Yeah.
He was 460, 480. You know, but still moved good for being that big.
How big was it?
About 460, I think 480 maybe.
Wow.
He was huge.
He worked
he did that roll in the corner, Jared.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I got under that thing a couple times. But I mean, great, easy to work with, but it was very, I had to catch on real quick because, that rounds gimmick, I'm like, what are we doing? And the referee, he was, what was it? McManus, or he was from
McMichael.
Yeah, McMichael. Yeah, he was a nice guy. I'm saying it was a very cool experience. A lot of the guys there. I think what's his name? The guy, the real heavyset guy that worked for WCW, that did the breakdance kind of gimmick. He was there.
PN News.
Um,
It was
PM News, yeah.
Yeah, he
Nice
wears
guy.
Cannonball Grizzly there.
Yeah. But he, it was cool there. I mean,
Did you work in Graz?
oh yeah, that's where I was the whole time. I was there only 10 days. I could have went over there and worked longer because it was a good gimmick. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger loved him. He was raised on him. He loves that guy. Yeah. And Arnold's dad was the police chief there.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
We used to run Graz right before Vienna, and it was always like around June or something like that. We'd run in Graz, which was a perfect time to be in southern Austria. It was beautiful.
Oh, it was beautiful there. It was so pretty. It was, and nice, and there's so much stuff to see, and and the people were wonderful. Although I was a little intimidated, when I flew into the airport there, and everybody's got machine guns on the upper level.
What was this machine gun? What was going on?
No, it's just the soldiers. There was like a upper. When you walk through off the airport, and they drop you on the tarmac. You come down the stairs off the airplane on the tarmac in Graz, and then you walk into the terminal. And then above you is a walkway. It goes around the whole upper, part of the building. And they're walking back and forth, with machine guns. I'm like, I go, whoa, what's going on here, buddy? I guess it's just a part of the protocol.
Yeah. Go ahead, Don.
You're only about 30, 40 miles from former Yugoslavia, which was in a war most of that time.
Oh, yeah.
Which Austria was perfectly fine, but they... you were not very far from a war zone.
Oh my God. But it was crazy.
I think Otto one time. Otto forgot his passport. We're gonna run a show in somewhere in the top part of former Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
Otto forgot his passport and a car phone back then, which is pretty rare.
Wow.
And he called the border and told him he was coming, and they let him through without a passport. He was that big of a star.
Wow.
Oh,
he pulled
he
in.
was over.
Otto, they all waved at him and let him in and let him back through.
Well, that booger was over like a son of a gun. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I met Arnold one time at the Staples Center when he did stuff with us back in the 90s. And I went up to him, and Arnold, he was one of the most polite people I've ever met. He was on top of the world, and he would go up to guys and he goes, "Do you mind if my kids take a picture with you?" I mean, this is freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger, He's like, oh my God, I can't believe Arnold's talking to me. But I went up to him and I told him, I said, I worked in Graz for Otto, and Arnold lit up like a little kid when I told him that. He thought a lot of Otto.
Oh yes, he did, and I've seen many an interview where he talks about him. I mean, very, very cool. Yeah. But that was a great experience. I came back, and that's when I got the calls to go. WCW and WWF had called the office, and they had another little powwow and there in Tampa, and told me the whole deal. We're not going to tell you what to do. These two calls came in. I think Kevin Sullivan was the person that called from represent WCW, and then it was whoever it was up there. I don't know if it was Pat or whoever it was they talked to. Both companies were interested in one, and they go, it's up to you. You have to make the decision what you want to do and everything. I still, figured I was, going up there in either company. It's like, I still consider myself so green and so, every day was a learning experience. And here I was, my first trip overseas, and I'm like, oh my God, and then you're working guys that were champions in every territory, and national and international. I mean, they were coming from everywhere. They worked up there, and I'm like, but I always wanted to go, to WWF, and so I'm like, there's no disrespect to WCW, but I'm like, I said I'd like to go there, and so they brought me up there. My first black match was in Niagara Falls. They brought me up there and did a dark match at a TV taping they had there, like they used to do and everything. But back then, they were getting 60, 80 tapes, probably a week or more, from guys all over wanting to come there, and I'm like, they called the office asking about me. But they knew everyone that was out there. If you're working independent, if you're training, or the whole 9 yards. between the marks and, you know, the different people in the different areas and their offices and stuff like that. They were aware of everything. I'm sure
that was Howard Finkel's doing. Howard had a tape library of just about every talent in America and the world. I mean, Howard was so good, so valuable that he doesn't get a lot of credit for that sometimes. But Howard was a one-man gang up there. I mean, he categorized all those tape and the Hill baby faces. Hey, Howard, we need this guy in here. Well, tell me a little bit about what you need. Did you go into it? Next day he'd come and he'd have a dozen tapes for you to view. You know?
Yeah, Howard and Jimmy Hart are definitely the two hardest working people in the business. You know, and I miss Howard. Howard, I mean, he handled the computer end. He handled all, you know, the internet stuff. You know, all that. You know, and people, you know, think of him, you know, the announcer or in the office. But they don't know how deep,
how valuable he was to
that
company at the beginning. I mean, Howard was one of the main players at the beginning of that company, you know, and he's always overlooked in that aspect of it. As you just know, I'm Howard Finkel, you know. Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know, and people don't realize, you know, a general's only as good as the soldiers that are around him. And Vince has always had great soldiers. The ones that can't hang and don't do the deal that they need to do, they go by the wayside. A lot of great guys have come through there as agents and so on and so forth and all that stuff, you know, and it made things, you know, some of the agents not as good as others, but it made the things work, you know, and be more fluid and less headaches. You know, most owners, they don't want the day-to-day, you know, micromanage of the job. They want to just make sure that the job is getting done the way it's supposed to be getting done.
So you came up there as steel man from down here. So how long was it up there before they, you know, because there's a gimmick factory up there. How long was it before they told you, you know, here's what we got for you? And what did you think of it?
It was about 6 or 8 months. I was working, you know, first, second matches, you know, doing as big steel man in that. You know, I always laugh too, because when I look at the encyclopedias, I'm big man steel in there. I'm like, this is a typo. I said, it's big man. It's the big steel man, you know, and Steve Kern can testify to that. He's the one that came up with that. It was originally U.S. Steel. And the hat that I wore in Florida came from the head of the Steelworkers Union. He gave it to me there in Tampa.
I remember seeing that it had U.S. Steel on there too, didn't it?
Yeah, the original did. Yeah,
the original,
definitely, yeah. But when I came up there, they called me into the office one day, and it was Pat, Vince, and whoever else was in there, I forget. You know, they're like, we got this idea for, we got this character we were thinking about. And to this day, you know, I'm a big kid. Okay, I watch cartoons, I do all that. I'm goofy. You know, it's not just the hits to the head, but you know, that's just the way I am. You know, but they go, we got this gimmick, a sailor gimmick. And how do you feel about that? Because they always put it back to you. You know, they can give you a gimmick, but it's up to you to take the gimmick to the next level.
Right.
You know, and they go, we got this guy, and we want to call him Tugboat. I says, let me get this straight. You want a character that's, because it was a baby face character. And I'm like, you want somebody that's a combination of Popeye and Brutus in one character. I says, I'm on board. This sounds like fun. You know, I says, yeah, sure. You know, and I just had fun. You know, I go out there. You know, you don't need to do no sound effects. I got my own. You know, but and that was it. You know, and then it got me started, and I doing the deal with that, and then they put me with Hogan, man, which was the most nervous shit. You know, you got the top baby face. And
how do you feel about that? Now, here right now, the hottest guy in the entire wrestling business, and at Tugboat, Fred, we're going to give you an opportunity to stand next to this guy. I mean, wow, wow, right?
Hey, Joe Jabroni, we're going to put you out here with the top guy. Okay, so what if you don't catch on or whatever, or look like a complete moron? But I'm like, here's the opportunity. You know, ready or not, you know, here, you know, and he was awesome. He was awesome to be around and work with and everything. And, every guy that, think about it, all the guys that he touched, there's heel or babyface that worked with him. It was like a shot of NOS in an engine. Boom. It boosted you and your credibility and the career. That's when Quake, Jimmy, and Dino Bravo, they got into that deal there. We worked some tag matches, but they also heard him, put him out. That's when they did a couple of movies there and that stuff. They put him out. I was pitching, the letters and stuff, and, say your prayers, and, you got to come with the big man and, give him your support. This is the time when he needs it the most and all that stuff. And I still have people, that come, at these signings and stuff, and they go, man, I remember writing a letter and I got a reply back. And I remember getting my Hulk Rules bracelet. And I've had a couple of them come up and show me they still had those gimmicks.
You had one of the original action figures too, didn't you?
Well, as Typhoon, this is what happened when they were going to put me with Quake. I did a photo shoot in Baltimore on tugboats, okay, prior to going to TV. Okay, so they did a photo shoot and everything. And then they took me to the guys with Hasbro, and they showed me the 2-up figure of Tugboat. Now, I had already sent a T-shirt prototype to the house, me with the whistle in the background blowing and, blowing the horn. And, okay, so I go, oh, my God, I seen that. Then my wife that I was married to at that time, she goes, I call her on the phone, and I see I'm going to have a figure. I'm going to have a doll, and I'm like pumped up. I'm a kid, man. This is Christmas Day, and I just saw what's coming on Christmas, and I was like excited. I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. Oh my God, what am I going to do with this? And I was having fun with that gimmick. I mean, it was, I love that people ask, you want to be a babyface or heel. I love them both, as long as I'm able to do and entertain people and do the things that I like to do, which is this business, because this business has been so good to me and it opened so many opportunities to me. So, they gave me that, and then I go to TV 2 days later, and what happens? They send a guy out, Fred. They want to see in the office. Vince wants to talk to you. I go in the office, and here he is with Pat. He goes, well, big man, we've finished our run with, Hogan and Quaker, and how we have a great idea about pairing you two together as a tag team. And I always liked John very much and loved him. I mean, and he was such a great athlete and such an incredible talent. And I'm thinking in my head while they're telling me this stuff, after I've just seen a figure, a T-shirt, and did this photo shoot, and I'm like, I'm getting fucked here. I'm getting screwed. But I'm like, there goes the doll. And I'm like, but I'm like, it behooved me because I'm thinking me and John could work like smaller guys work. We could do high spots and do different spots to show strength, and plus the fact that we were a little bit had some agility about us. And so I was like, yeah, sounds great. Where do you go? And then the rest is history, man. I mean, to this day, I just talked to his son the other day, Johnny, and I've got all of his stuff is gone. He had sent me a couple of years back, John Singlet, and I'm going to put it in. We're putting a little restaurant together here in town, and I'm going to have that with him and the facsimile of the belt and everything like that. But the rest is all history. I mean, loved it. Other than people still hate me for turning on the bushwhackers, yeah. I mean, I get people come up or send me messages on Facebook or Instagram, that stuff, and they're like, "You son of a bitch!" I said, "I can't believe you. I remember you. I cried. You hurt the bushwhackers, Luke and Butch, and the Luke and Butch I know were the bloodiest, nastiest tag team as the Sheepherders in creation. Yeah. Okay, 365 a year, but did the deal, the swerve there and everything, and turned on Hogan, and rest is history. You know, they put us together, put us with Jimmy Hart, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
What was Tenna's background in Japan? Was he trained sumo?
He was undefeated.
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah, he was one step away from Grandmaster, John. He was that good.
He was good.
I'd always heard, you know, I knew John pretty well. What super nice guy. I love him.
Oh my God.
But I always knew what everybody talk about how tough he was. He's one of those quiet guys, you know, that you think has this volcano underneath, and sure enough, he did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, brother.
But he was undefeated as a sumo.
Right.
Yeah.
He was one step away, 1 degree away from being a Grandmaster champion.
But he didn't really like the lifestyle. I mean, what goes on in Sumo Town, it's a great honor to be chosen. I mean, they got young guys that they are pulled from families and stuff to train sumo and start to, you know, and the whole, you know, culture behind sumo wrestling. I mean, it's an incredible deal in that, but he said, you know, I guess that lifestyle and that's so stringent, and I guess, the Yokozuna, the head guy, you know what I'm saying? He gets, you know, you got the young people training early in the morning and they're doing this and doing that. Then they start cleaning, they clean up the Grandmaster stuff and look after them and, you know, and cater to them. And, you know, like the president of the United States or a king of England or a queen of England, you know, and just a lot of mental stuff there too. You know, I guess the lifestyle too is pretty stringent, you know, being in a place like that, Sumo Town, you know, but
how did John end up over there?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm thinking he was an alternate on the Olympic team for Canada, is what I'd always heard. You know,
he was after.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
He should
have
been the main guy because he was that strong and that talented of a grappler. And they wrestled at LSU, you know, and but you know, also he played rugby.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I was talking to Johnny the other day. You know, I have some pictures you can pull online of when he was playing. You know, and I thought that was pretty neat. You know, cool. But I don't know if it was like for a club team or what the deal was. And he goes, yeah. Johnny was telling me that, and but he was just phenomenal, man. But like you said, quiet. You know, wouldn't do that, but you know. Didn't like to be ribbed, didn't like to rib, you know, that's definitely a deterrent there. You know, the boys. I don't gotta tell you that, John. You know the deal.
Somehow once, I know you find this hard to believe, Mr. Brisco ended up signed up for a retirement home in Texas. and I don't know how it happened, but he was actually enrolled into a retirement home in Texas.
Well, Fred, I used to come home from long trips. You remember we were booked. I mean, you were booked for eternity. I'd come home, I'd go to the body shop. All of a sudden, the phone would. It was like they knew exactly when I was arriving. The phone would start. Oh, Mr. Brisco, it's you know you're getting up there among age. You know, we'd like to offer you this home in Texas. What do you mean? Well, it's a retirement home. I didn't do it. You signed some papers that you wanted to get a phone call. I didn't sign no damn papers.
Oh my
God.
God.
Guy there, man.
Oh my God. Sato was like that. He'd make the calls on the road. Oh, hello? No, Brian Adams. He was
Brian was good to different
Brian
voices.
was good with it, yeah.
Hello. Yes. Vince McMahon, I want you to call. Oh, he heard that your music, everything good, but when you get to the ring, you the shits.
Brian we go golfing with Big Show, and Big Show loved Brian. Brian loved Big Show, but somewhere during the round, he would unhook his bag on his golf cart. So when Big Show would be going up a hill, the bag would fall off and all the clubs would fall and fall out. Every single time.
Awesome. Oh my God.
And Brian was so good about kayfabing it. He would pop it so quick that Show knew it was coming and he would still be able to get him.
Oh, He was my training partner up in Portland. Oh my God, we'd have fun. Oh my God, unbelievable. But yeah, I remember all the guys getting their. You told me you gave Burke a couple of little ribby deals, didn't you? Or no? Berkeley.
Oh yeah. I love Berkeley. For those who don't know your son Berkeley, yeah, I love Berkeley. He's the nicest young guy. But either Chimmel or somebody came up with the Shockmaster's biggest mistake was Berkeley.
Oh my God! Oh, it was that sparkly sperm. Oh my God, that's funny.
And Berkeley just takes it all in stride. He laughs. He's a good young man.
What was that black girl?
People really like him.
The black girl. She did the crazy gimmick in that. He wasn't there a real long time up. He was ringside, and she ripped his shirt off of him and pulled him over. She was like did the nutty gimmick.
Oh yeah, Alicia Fox. Yeah.
Oh my God! I called him. I'm like, son, I'm glad that you had your Shockmaster moment early in your career. She hit him with the soda can in the head, ripped his shirt off him, pulled him over the podium in the corner there by the bell.
That's right, yeah.
Right onto the floor. Oh my God. I almost pissed myself. Oh.
How did Berkeley end up getting that job? People love him there, by the way. He's a good young guy, but how did he get the job?
He always wanted, he's always loved the business. He always loved the business. Of all my kids, he's the one loved the business. And when he started doing it, they were doing the FCW thing down there. He was going to Plant High School there in Tampa. And he was like a sophomore or whatever. And he talked to me. He says, Dad, he goes, I want to be a referee. I want to be because obviously I'm not big enough to wrestle. I says, well, son, you're still going to have to go to wrestling school. Okay. You're going to have to train and go to wrestling school. And Mike Graham was there too. And all of them, and the Dusty, I guess, came in there when they had, before NXT, it was at FCW over there in South Tampa. And so I took him over and let him talk to everybody and that was there. And I, told him what he was interested in doing that stuff. And they went on to him about, how important the education and stuff like that and continued education and everything like that. And that is, I says, that's the same thing that I've preached to him. I says, in this business here, first of all, what they told us when we were young, I said, you got to save your money when you have the opportunity. I says, you're not 18. You're going to not be 18 for a couple of years. So he wound up going there on a regular basis, helping set up, playing, doing whatever they want him to do. I says, and you got to be a sponge. Okay. Being around this group of guys, and when they do the TVs and stuff like that, the guys are coming from Connecticut. They're coming down here. They're from the office up there to do the show. Learn everything you can learn and don't ever say no to what it may sound weird or you not feel confident enough or whatever, but that's the only way you're going to learn. That's the only way you're going to learn. I says, and, especially with that television part, I says, because wrestling, you can never know where it's going to go or how it's going to go. I says, but learning from all these professionals, you can go get an education at a college, learning all that stuff that they do, but learning from them, directly from them, and with that, having that opportunity, asking questions and them having the patience enough to help you through this and showing interest in it, you couldn't pay for that education with those type of people. You can get that education, but you're getting the on-the-job training as you're learning. And this is before you ever put a boot on, get in a ring, or the whole 9 yards, and thank God he listened, and he is a good kid. He's a good, loving kid. He's a smart kid. He's a smart ass like his dad, but that's good. The apple don't fall far from the tree.
Hey, the best thing about him is he knows how to pass the heat. So this is actually great because anytime somebody starts getting to rib him a little bit, he'll bring up the fact, Chimmel just ordered a pizza. They'll go, what? Everybody go to Chimmel.
Swerve. Oh my God, man, that's funny. Yeah. Oh, he used to create a lot of heat with his mother and me because I do the nutty crazy shit that I would do. And see, that's why your kids are the way they are. You know, she'd tell me, she'd cut a promo. Oh, you see here, you're such a bad influence and they're not respectful and this and that. And he's like, well, Mom, you got to admit he's funny. You know, oh, thank you, son. It just nailed the coffin.
Yeah. Fred, you brought it up, and it's it's history in our business, and there's no running from it. But you brought up the Shockmaster entrance there.
Yes.
Can you kind of describe that in your words and your experience on how that happened, and you've grown past it, of course, and you've done fantastic, but you kind of accepted, hey, this is what happened, you know, I'm bigger than that, better than that, and made things a hell of a lot better. So we're kind of walk us through the Shockmaster and the setup to it, not just when you were going in there, but the whole presentation, how it was presented to you, and the whole 9 yards.
Well, I got there, you know, of course, my brother-in-law Dusty was there, you know, he's like, his brilliant idea. And I
Were you supposed to be a stormtrooper, or what was the setup to it?
Well, you know, I was not that long off of TV, and I was the mystery partner. All that mask was to cover my face. Okay, they gave me they showed me the gimmick that they come up with. You know, it was the stormtrooper hood, and they doctored it, and they put little holes, pinholes. I got the thing still. I have it here sitting on the shelf. Okay. Drilled the holes. Okay, here, put this on. You're going to wear this when you go out. Okay. And I'm like, are you serious? And the glitter was coming through the hole where my eyes were, the holes on both sides. It was, I swear, maybe a 1/16 of an inch hole, 1/8 of an inch hole, maybe most, that they drilled into this thing. Okay. PVC mask. And they go, oh no, you can't do that. So Janie Ingalls was the secretary in the office back then. So they have her pull her pantyhose off and glue them over the holes. Now, I can't see out the holes to begin with, but to protect my eyes from the glitter coming in them. I says, really? It was like blind man's bluff, you know? And I'm like, shit. So Mike Graham was the one that's going to give me the cue. He had the gorilla position there at a wall that wasn't gimmicked. Okay, I broke like 4 or 5 2x4 studs. It was 5/8 sheetrock. They built the whole set for Flair for the Gold. Okay, and with Flair and Mimi, or the girl, you know.
And you guys didn't rehearse this during the afternoon or anything?
No, yeah. Here's the wall. And, you know, it was a wall that was, you know, sheetrock comes 4x8 sheets, and they had to add it up. So they put a board right below my knees for extra support going across the whole wall. And Mike Graves, before I went to do the thing, they put me out there, and it's getting time, and it's live TV. It wasn't taped.
Right.
It was live. Bash at the Beach.
Of course.
Okay. It was live. It wasn't like working for Vince, where he'd come out of the room steaming on the first hour, screaming and yelling that match was the shits, blah, 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 you know, and they move you to the third hour, okay, you know, and because a lot of people leave, you know, it's a long ass night when you're there. It's a long day for everybody at TVs. But, you know, this was live. It's happening now. I'm here behind this wall, and Mike's going, Fred, you're going to have to, they didn't gimmick this. You're going to have to bust this.
Oh, no.
I says, Mike, don't worry about it. He-Man, Masters of the Universe. I'm like, I'm benching over 600 pounds. I can knock a hole in the wall. I've done it in my mom's house. Okay. So don't, you know, by accident. So I can knock this out. So they put the thing on me. I'm about 6 inches from the wall, and Mike's going to give me the cue. They couldn't microphone the mask because the Shockmaster was actually going to be like like the Glacier gimmick with a lucha hood and full outfit deal, like a comic book kind of character. It was going to, the Super Shockmaster is what it was going to be. Okay. And so I'm like, whatever you need me to do. I've always been that way. Whatever you need me to do, I'm going to do. So they go this. I'm like, Mike, don't worry about it. But Ole was the one that did the voiceover, you know, because he couldn't mic the mask. So he gives me the cue. I double axe handle, boom, blow through, bust boards, and I became a human teeter-totter because the bottom board, you know, should have been where I could kick it out and go over there. But meanwhile, it was the fulcrum point for me to fall face down on my ass. Live TV, all I can think of is turning my head. The thing has happened. Turn my head, reach for the hood that popped off like a champagne cork, and jump up to my feet with that mask on my head and pantomime Ole Anderson. I am the shock master. Blah, 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 blah. You know? And meanwhile, if you watch the video, I love it all the time. I tell people, when you're having a bad day, over 3 or 4 million people have watched this. I says, I'm having a bad day. You have a bad day? Watch this video. You know, if it's a kid, watch it with your dad, and you'll laugh your butt off. I says it at my expense, but it'll make your day so much better. I says, because everybody, no matter how good they are, has a shockmaster day. Okay, they do something that flubs up, that messes up, and you got to sometimes suck it up, and you know, and deal with the inevitable, and you know, work toward the best scenario that you can do. And you know, it's a crazy, and there's so many fans there's so many people that want to get their photo with that thing on their head. I mess with it. I'm like, you know it. Don't get too close to it because it'll talk to you. Okay. Okay. And it'll mesmerize you like a cobra ready to strike. You know, you want to wear me. You want it on my head. You know that you want to be part of this historic person. And there'll be 4 or 5 all wants to turn. Everybody wants to turn. But you know, it was bad. It happened. You know, it was a case of beer to drive back to Tampa kind of night, kind of an event. But, you know, it other than the ribbing that have continually happened, it's been a great thing. You know, it was the 2017 San Diego's Comic-Con figure of that Comic-Con from WWE. And the presentation box has me upside down like a break dancer. Okay. And the back side of the box gives the whole scenario of what happened. It was the exclusive for that Comic-Con. So, and then there was the a classic series that they did before that from the disasters and for Shockmaster. You know, that's where Quake called me on the phone. Funny deal. He's like, Typh, you're gonna get a figure. You're gonna get a figure, Typh. He goes, but they gave me Yokozuna's body. Oh, I love him, brother. I'm like, it's not like with the two, what do you call it, diet twins or something like that. Oh, gee, you know. Yeah. But yeah, it's one of those. But you know, it's been good. But I'm, you know, like when I tell people, I'm like, I've watched top wrestlers that could go down a laundry list of names that like get the hot tag, go to make the save, jump over the top rope, catch their feet on the top rope, fall on their face.
I'm one of them.
The whole 9 yards. You know, just because it wasn't at TV, I've seen it. You know, that's what, you know, I've had that stuff happen. What was this?
Hey, Tug, one time Bubba Dudley was, we told the story many times. Bubba doesn't mind it. We're working in Madison Square Garden. We got a bunch of heat on Devon. We got a bunch of heat on Devon, me and Ron. All of a sudden, Bubba hits the tag, comes in, trips over the rope, and falls flat on his face.
Oh, my God.
We had worked for 20-something minutes.
Oh.
So afterwards, long story short, Bubba, of course, double legs me and potatoes me because obviously it's my fault. He beat the shit out of me, too. I'm going, Ron, don't tag in. He's very mad. So we get the back, and Bubba goes, oh, my God, it's terrible. Ron goes, Bubba, it's not that bad. And Bubba goes, no,
my God.
My college coach was there. All my roommates, my girlfriend. It's Madison Square Garden, the most famous reading in the world. Ron goes, yeah, that's pretty bad.
I love Ron, man. He's freaking funny. Damn.
Oh my God.
Berkeley one
Unbelievable.
day, you talk about Berkeley being quick. I said, hey, I saw your
Yep.
dad. I said, I got to meet your dad at one of the autograph signings. And he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, Dad auctions off the original Shockmaster helmet ever autograph signing.
Fred.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
He was great. He's a funny little guy. He's
Bro.
everybody's little
Yeah.
guy. He's a funny
He's funny,
guy.
man. Oh my God.
How big were you
Yeah.
in Quake when you guys were tagging? What was the size of you guys?
My heaviest, I think it was like 418, 417 or 418. I was 6'7". And then Quake, 460 easy, if not heavier.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And move. I mean, both of us can do standing drop kicks, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So we did okay. I did okay. It's just that road food. I'm gonna tell you, wrestling 300 plus days. I remember talking to Bill Eady, and he worked one time. They worked 365 days straight. He got one day off and went out to 365 more days.
Wow.
Oh my God. It's a hard deal, man. It's, I don't have to tell you guys, but you got to love it, or, you got to do it when you can do it,
Yeah,
I loved it. I loved the boys
on the road, or it was for me because I had no discipline. But it was
me. I'm in that club. Yes. Be quiet and be humble. Okay. But I can do whatever I want. Right. Yeah.
I was at the Cleveland Airport Marriott one time with Vader. It's about 3:00 in the morning. We had probably 20 something beers each, and he'd ordered a large pizza. And we're sitting there at 3:00 in the morning, and he's eating this pizza, and he looks over at me and he goes, "Kid, have you lost weight?" And I said, Yeah, I've been training. And he goes, "Yeah, I don't know why I can't." I don't either, buddy.
Oh my Lord. Hey, we was in Nashville. We worked Nashville. I was with Dusty, Andre, and all the boys used to go down in the stockyard, and they go downstairs and go down and sing and all that stuff. Mean Gene was there, all that stuff, and everybody's getting hammered and everything. And it's freezing cold outside. Freezing cold. And earlier we had ate before we went down there. And David Allen Cole comes up to the table with this guy. He's a bull rider, about 160 pounds, maybe, soaking wet, with the longest gun. I'm like, "Is that your pecker, buddy?" It was about a 12-inch hog leg hanging out the top. He pulled it out in the restaurant like this. David Allen Cole, there was a guy there who used to work as security. His name was Tiny. He was about 500 pounds, if not more. And he was eating with us. David Allen Cole picks the steak up off of his plate and just bites a big piece of. Now all these attorneys and doctors and stuff there, and then throws it down. And he's probably got 50 pounds of silver and turquoise around his neck, hanging, dangling, with the Buffalo Bill jacket and the whole 9 yards, and I'm like, oh my God. But we went downstairs after that, and everybody's drinking, they're partying, Dusty's up there, "Hey baby," singing Johnny Be Good and all that shit and all that shit. So it gets late. We got to go back to the hotel because we got to be up in the morning to go catch the flight. And that we go out the door. There's a guy changing a flat tire on the curb. Okay. And it's freezing cold. We're waiting for the car to pull up, and the guy's changing the tire, and all of a sudden he goes, like this. Dusty decided to take a leak off the curb, and it was the wind sprayed the piss all over. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Andres, good boss. And the guy whips around to look, and then he sees Andre and all of us there, and he's like, and said nothing. Sorry.
Some fun times out there. Fred, what are you up to now, man? What's Fred Ottman doing out there now?
Well, we're working on that new network, the TK network. Full steam ahead. It's going to be like a big bullshit session. I'll invite all the people out, but there's like 50 people. You're part of that deal. And John is, and Adam Baum's there. They've got some Hollywood celebrities that are on there. There's like 50, 60 people involved with that thing.
Now, how
You
can
know?
they find? How can our listener find that place?
www.thenewknewnetwork.com. And they pull it
You
up.
two guys are going against competition against each other, right?
Yeah, that's the reason I invited him on, because I wanted to get a feel, how I could do this. I cut a promo with challenging to the great grand debate, celebrity grand debate, whatever hell it is. And Fred, I love you to death. We grew up basically the same area here. But I can't wait to kick your ass, man. I'm gonna bring the Sharkmaster back.
I try to be as respectful. Like they always told me in promos, you got to put your put your opponent over, or else who are you beating? Okay, and I'm like, and here I am, your biggest freaking mark. Okay, I was there when I was a kid, and I'm the one that was watching you. And and I put you over, and I how much you're a legend and this and that and everything, but I'm still gonna whoop your ass.
Oh, wow. I think this is something in April, coming up in April.
Hey, let me tell you something, baby. I am the Tower of Power. I am the man of the hour. I am too sweet to be sour, baby. I'm coming after you. You hear what I'm saying, Mr. Brisco? You're tough. But look at how pretty. I am a pretty man. I am not a smart man. I'm intimidated by your skills. You hear what I'm saying?
Damn.
Oh my good.
Looking forward to it. So it'll be a lot of fun. And where can the people reach you for booking for card shows and stuff like that if you're interested in those?
They can get me up on my Facebook. Both of them are the same. Fred Ottman, and pull me up, and I'm there, and I post stuff continually. That's what John was talking about before. I try. I put a lot of motivational stuff out there as far as training and stuff like that. I'm old. I'm beat up, and 80%. I used to teach first aid, CPR, and all that stuff when I was out of the business for a while, for industry and for construction stuff like that, because I've been working since I'm 11 years old, and I came up in a blue collar family and learned a lot of skills. The same thing I taught my son and my other son and my daughter. The more things that you have in your tool bag as far as skills go, you'll never have to worry about where your next meal comes from. You'll never have to worry about how to make a buck, because the more skills, it makes you that much more valuable as a person. But I had the luck and the great honor to have worked with guys like, in the business, around guys like you coming in the business, growing up watching. And I was a wrestling fan since I'm around 8, 9 years old. I wrestled in this business for almost 30 years. And I also am still a wrestling fan. Don't watch it with the religion, all that, because my wife keeps me going. We're trying to open a restaurant up here in Tennessee.
Good.
Called Bubba's Filling Station Cafe.
Wow. Whereabouts in Tennessee are you exactly? Where are you looking?
I'm in Centerville, Tennessee. It's about an hour drive from the airport in Nashville to where we are here. We're in the country. And let me tell you, when I'm in the country, we are in the country. But we're open it's 20 miles to go to the gym. I have a gym here at the house, but when it gets below zero, like it does here from time to time, last 3 days, it was in the 20s waking up to. And I'm a Florida boy. I'm used to beach weather, but I'm okay. I'm okay with that. But it's beautiful up here. I have a great wife. She's the hardest worker I know. And she's got lots of patience to deal with this child. I'm going to tell you that. And we've got 6 kids, 12. This is my second wife, but we've got 6 kids combined, 12 grandkids, 5 great grandkids.
For you, man.
That's awesome.
Keeps it easy.
Yeah.
And I've got lots of toys here at the house. and I'll always be a child.
And
know?
you got the original Shockmaster hood helmet.
That's it. They
That
fight
he
over who
auctions
wants
off
to wear
according
it.
to Berkeley every single autograph session. Yeah.
There you go. You know what they say? There's a sucker born every minute.
Oh my God. Barkley told me that. I popped like crazy. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
I wish I could show you around this room here. I've got I've got a poster up here from when we did SummerSlam in Wembley Stadium, and it was bootlegs that were being sold outside that were better than Vince's. And Jimmy Hart come in, baby, hey baby, look at here. He come in and he had like 4 of them before they took the others and destroyed them. And wherever they sold before that, I guess, whatever. But I got one of them, put it up on the wall along with the European tour. I mean, I've got lots of toys. This is all my family. I'm bad about buying toys, because all those toys represent you guys. And when I meet new, younger guys, I pick them up, whatever. Some of them are signed. A lot of them are signed. And, matter of fact, my dad's Korean War helmet is in the corner there because it's Sarge signed it for me. And I have a bunch of his figures. He laughs at me all the time because I get him to sign different shit that I have. I have Hasbro's. I have all that shit. He goes, Fred, what is the matter with you? I says, this is my family, my extended family. You got to remember, we run the roads, more than at home with our families most of our lives, and I says, it's just one of those things, and I love each and every one of you. It upsets me when I lose some, like Lanny lost him a while back, but I mean, it's all a good thing. And when, like when I run into guys, the signings are the best. I love the fans and I love my family, seeing them and cutting up and doing like we do here, laughing about different shit and everything. It's a good thing. It's a good time. And I says, one of these days, they want you to write a book. And I'm like, the fans want it to be, it would have to be behind the curtain and under the mat would have to be the name of it, because all they want to know about is the dirt. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a dirt guy. People's families are kind of important, and no matter who they are. And I know you guys are just like me. I've run the road with a lot of rough deals.
That's the reason you're on here, Fred, because you're not about dirt. And we're not about dirt. So
yeah,
we just have a good time. We laugh at guys, but they laugh with us. We're able to share some stories that only the guys behind the scenes know, and this is the great vehicle for us to kind of share our life on the road with the other people out there. I'm proud of my friendship with you and John and everybody else I was able to be out there with. So
yeah, that thing that Brian does every couple of months is awesome. The Legends Lunch.
Yeah.
Where you get to see it.
Yeah, that was the last I saw you down there. They're fantastic. I'd like to get John down one time for those things.
Yeah.
Good guys. Yeah, they just did. I guess they just did the Nasties. Because Sags. Right. That's my other brother-in-law.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. That's my. So yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
You were in some wild families, man.
The holidays are always good. The holidays
no kidding. Never a dull moment.
But being on the road, the boys, it's happy times. It's good times, good and bad, but there's a lot of good stuff there. When you get that much testosterone all together at one time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something happens. Sure. Every time something happens.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Fred, it was a pleasure having you on here today. Stories with Brisco and Bradshaw, man. I really appreciate it, and it's been fun.
I love it.
It's been fun, but bear in mind, I'm going to kick your ass.
Ooh, bring it, big boy. Bring it.